Om Saravanabhava. In this video recording, Magantharen presents the SEER PAATHA VAGUPPU of Saint Arunagirinathar. The Vaguppus are a form of poetry that have a theme, or let's say a subject at its core, and all of the stanzas in the poetry describe the traits, attributes, and essential qualities of that subject. Only the last stanza reveals the subject about which the descriptions have so far been given. In SEER PAATHA VAGUPPU, Arunagirinathar describes the splendor of Lord's feet, its cosmic aura, grandeur, magnificence, and power. SEER stands for prosperity, wealth, beauty, gracefulness, and excellence. So, SEER Paadam means the illustrious feet that offer the devotees spiritual and material prosperity. The poem describes various accomplishments, feats, and triumphs, and finally attributes them to his feet. The feet here are the symbolic or metaphoric description of the Brahman, the supreme and the eternal universal consciousness.
Muruga Saranam. Muruga Saranam. SEER PAATHA VAGUPPU. உததிகிடை கடவும் மரகத வருண குல துரகம் உபலளித்த கணக்கரத சத்தகோட்டி சூரியர்கள் உதயம் எனகதிகவித கலபகமயிலின் இசை யுகமுடிவில் நீருள்ளகல ஒரு சோதி வீசுவதும்
The first 4 lines of the SEER PAATHA VAGUPPU describe the scene after the Pralaya or the Great Deluge. Saiva Siddhanta states that the universe that you perceive was created by the Lord with material called Prakriti Maya or nature. As you know, anything that has been created has a beginning and an end. Thus the world or the universe is cyclically created and destroyed. The destruction part happens during the Pralaya or the Apocalypse, when a great flood produced by Prakriti engulfs everything and all the created objects merge into the eternal and primordial sound of Om from which it had originated. On the dawn of creation, Murugan comes riding on an emerald green peacock with indescribably beautiful and multiply hued plumes and a blinding effulgence that ends the darkness of samhara or destruction and ushers in the fresh creation of the universe. Lord appears as a dazzling light amidst the floodwaters of creation, as though millions of suns are seated on a golden chariot which is driven by 7 multicolored pedigreed horses. 7 horses of sun god. They are the 7 colors of the rainbow, or they can be thought of as the Saptaswaras originating from the Damru of Lord Shiva. It is interesting to note that the birth of Murugan itself symbolizes creation of the universe out of his own spark through the medium of Panchamahabhutas, or the 5 great basic elements of earth, water, fire, air and space, which form the basis of all cosmic creation. As you all know, Shiva meditated and ejected sparks of divine fire from his third eye, which represents sky or the ether. These sparks are then carried by the fire god Agni and the wind god Vayu and later dropped into the sacred river, the Ganges. Mother Ganga carries these divine rays to Lake Saravana, where they are transformed into 6 baby boys, each lying on a lotus flower. Then Goddess Parvati, she gathers these babies into her arms and they become one beautiful child with 6 heads. When the 5 elements, that is earth, water, fire, air and ether, governed by Lord Shiva, unites with Shakti, which is the pure consciousness, Lord Murugan is born. That's the concept.
உடலும் உடல் உயிரும் நிலை பெறுதல் பொருள் என உலகம் ஒரு விவரும் மனோபவனம் சிவயோக சாதனையில் ஒழுகும் அவர் பிரிது பரவசம் அழிய விழி செருகி உணர்வு விழி கொடு நியதி தமதோடு நாடுவதும்.
The next lines say that the Lord's feet are what the yogis who live in a holy communion with the Lord seek and see with their yogic inner vision. For these yogis, enlightenment or liberation is their sole and ultimate goal. So they draw their attention away from worldly pleasures and focus their mind on their Ajna Chakra as prescribed by rules in the scriptures and get immersed in the ecstasy of being in union with the Lord. Ajna Chakra, talking of Ajna Chakra, this refers to the third eye. And chakras, you can say, they are the subtle energy centers of our biosystem. Chakras are not physical entities. They exist in our subtle body along the length of our spine.
உரு எனவும் மறு எனவும் உளதெனவும் இலதெனவும் உழலுவன பரசமய கலையார வாரம் மர உரைய விழ உணர்வ விழ உளம விழ உயிர விழ உளப்படியை உணரும் அவர் அனுபூதியானதும்.
Lord's feet are beyond the reach of the warring religious demagogues. They cannot be conceived by theologians of various religions who argue, it's there, it's not there, it's with form, it's formless. So, Lord's feet stay in the hearts of jnanis and sages who are so totally absorbed in the boundless superconsciousness called Shivam that they become speechless. They expand their limited minds and bodies and become one with the universal consciousness and experience the boundless joy that Lord's feet have given them.
உறவு முறை மனைவி மகவெனும் மலையிலன திதயம் உருவுடைய மலினம் பவ சலராசியேரவிடும் உருபுடையும் அறிமுகமும் உயரமரர் மணி மூடியில் உறைவதுவும் உலை விளதும் அடியேன் மனோரதமும்.
Lord Murugan's feet are akin to the strong raft, or for those choking in the vast ocean of endless birth or samsara of many forms and numerous sins. In these lines, the saint asserts, I can get into this raft and escape the surging waves of attachment to wife, family and children. Lord's feet are the gateway to the world of knowledge. They reside in the crowns of the righteous celestials. They are indestructible and are my goal and destination.
ಇದಡಿವೆಗು ಮುಗ ಗಗನ ನದಿಗರುಗುದರು ಗನ್ನರ இமகிரணதருண உடுபதி சேர்சடாமவுளி இறைமகிழ உடை மணியோட நிசகல மணிகளென இமயமயில் தழுவும் ஒரு திருமார்பில் ஆடுவதும்
Next stanzas describe a blissful and divine domestic scene. Baby Murugan's feet dance on Shiva's chest. Hugging the chest of Shiva and making him happy is his consort Uma Devi. When Muruga dances, the anklets on his feet, embellished with tiny bells and radiant precious stones, tinkle enchantingly. The stanza describes the iconographic details of Shiva. Shiva wears the laburnum flower, the river Ganges with many distributaries, the grass or aragampul, the snake Vasuki, and the full moon. All of these rest on his matted hair. The snake stands for all passions and desires. By wearing the snakes around his neck, Lord Shiva conveys a message to all his devotees that he has overcome all desires and is in full control of Prakriti or Maya. He is cool, as a symbol of which he wears argampul grass and the laburnum flower, which have cooling properties and innumerable medicinal values. Lord Shiva is beyond the concept of time. The waning and waxing of moon on his matted locks is controlled by him, because he can control the time. The moon also shows that Lord offers asylum to those who seek his refuge even if they have sinned. As was the case with Chandra the moon, when he was cursed by his father-in-law Daksha for being partial to one of his daughters, Rohini, as compared to his other 26 daughters whom he had married.
இமையவர்கள் நகரில் நீரை குடி புகுத நீருதர் வயிர் எரி புகுத உரகர்பதி அபிஷேகம் ஆயிரமும் எழுப்பிலமும் நெருணரண முறியவட குவடிடியம் இளைய தளர் நடை பழகி விளையாடல் கூறுவதும்.
These next 4 lines describe the Bala Leelas of Murugan. As the Lord's feet take tiny strides, one can foresee how the Lord's enormous strength is going to bring about the collapse of the demonic forces in the universe. As the divine baby takes his first steps, Indra, the celestial chief, regains entry to his homeland. The Asura's stomachs experience burning, maybe because of the anxiety. The 1,000 hoods of the great serpent Adisesha and the 7 Patalas or netherworlds, they crush and the Meru mountain gets shattered.
இனிய கனி கடலை பயரொடியில் போரிய முது செய்யும் இலகுவெகு கட விகட தடபார மேருவுடன் இகழி முது திகிரி கிரி நெறியவளை கடல் கதற எழுபுவியை ஒரு நொடியில் வலமாக ஓடுவதும்.
Murugan's feet are what competed with his elder brother Ganesha in a race to go around the entire universe. Lord Murugan flew on the back of the peacock and covered the entire universe in a second before the Meru-like Ganesha, his elder brother, who is uniquely beautiful with must water flowing down the cheeks and who consumes sweet fruits, pulses like kadalai and pairu, split tender palmyra roots and puffed rice. The rapid pace of Murugan atop the peacock organizes all the oceans and mountains on the earth. The old Chakravala mountain gets strangulated, and the sea that circles round the earth lets out distress wails.
எருளி புலி கரடியரி கரிகடமை வருடையுழை இரலை மறை இரவு பகல் இறை தேர்கடாடவியில் எகினரிடும் இதனதனில் இலகுதினை கிளி கடிய இனிது பயல் சிறுமி வளர் புனமீதுலாவுவதும்.
Lord's feet walk on the millet fields populated by wild animals in the dense forests of Vallimalai, where Lord's consort Valli is guarding the millets from the parrots. Lord's feet walk on the Thinai fields which is populated by wild animals like boars, tigers, bears, lions and elephants, to meet the young hunter girl Valli, who would sit on the high platform to guard the millet crops by singing Alolam melodiously and chasing away the parrots to prevent them from eating the lush Thinai crops. Valli represents every living being in this world. Our minds are forests where dangers lurk in the form of wild animals. There are also the Thinai fields in which we grow food, good crops we need for our life. To destroy these crops, evil forces come as birds. We need to sing Alolam like Valli to chase the birds away. Valli represents the Ichha Shakti, or the power of the mind. The entire universe is running on the combination of three powers, namely Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti, and they have to function harmoniously. Goddess Devyane represents Kriya Shakti, that is the power of effort or action, and Veil represents the Jnana Shakti, or the power of the intellect. Murugan came from the Jnana Chakshu, or the eye of knowledge of Shiva, and he can destroy the ignorance of devotees who guard their minds meticulously from all kinds of lust or passion.
முதலவினை முடிவில் இரு பிறையிரு கயிறு கொடு முதுவடவை விழி சுழல வருகால தூதர் கெட முடுகுவதும் அருள் நெறியில் உதவுவதும் நினையும் அவை முடிய வருவதும் அடிய பகை கோடி சாடுவதும்.
Our lives end when the effects of karma, that is the cause of birth, ends. At this juncture, the hideous-looking messengers of Yama, the god of death, arrive. Their teeth appear curved or crooked like the crescent moon, and their eyes twirl and spew fire of Vadava Mukhagni or Vadavagni. This Vadavagni is the fire under the flood waters at the end of the Yuga. The Lord's feet chase away the messengers of death when they fling the noose to carry away the life. The Lord's feet also help people to lead pious and spiritual lives, and by destroying the obstacles and enemies in the path, help us to carry out our plans and bring them to fruition.
மொகு மொகன மதுப முரல் குரவு விளவினது குரு முறியும் மலர்வ குளதல முழு நீல தீவரம் முருகு கமிழ்வதும் மகிழ முதன்மை தருவதும் விரத முனிவர் கருதறியதவும் முயல்வாத்த போவலமும்.
Like the bees that hover and buzz over aromatic flowers, the Siddhas seek Lord's feet, which are fragrant with the perfumes from the Kura flower, Karunkuvalai and Senkuvalai flowers. The young leaves of Vila or the wood apple tree, the young shoots and flowers of Vakula tree. Lord's feet confer exalted worldly position as well as liberation or mukti, which is out of reach of even the sages who perform penances and meditation.
Muruga Saravana Magalir Haruvar Mulai Nugarum Marumuga Kumara Saranam Yenam Arul Padi Adi Midem Modi Kudara Adudu Todu Turukumavar Vidiyaruvi Murukuvadum Varugayena Arikuviyaluvadum.
Lord's feet are the personification of infinite compassion. They welcome and assure protection to devotees who cry out, Murha, Saravana, Arumuga, who suckles the breasts of the 6 Kritika maidens, Kumara, give me your refuge. With profusely overflowing tears and quavering voices and worship you.
Mudiya vadi vadi adimai Yenum urimai adimai mulu Tulagariya madalai moli Kodupadum masu kavi Mudala moli vanani puna Madhupamugarida mavuna Mugala parimala nigala Kavimalai Suduvadum.
Arunagirinathar asserts his prerogative as a Murugan's hereditary slave who carried out his exclusive position as a slave in all his previous past births, a fact which Murugan made known to the world by adorning his feet with a garland made of the poet's nectar-like poems that were sung in a state of divinely sweet and ecstatic silence. These poems are eagerly sought by hordes of poets, just like the bees that crowd round the nectar-containing flowers.
Madasigari kadari mudu mudalai kavartara nediyam Madunaduvil veru vivoru Visayadi moolamena Varu karunai varadanigal Iraniyanai nudivugirin Vakirumadallari vadivu Kuralagi Mabaligi.
So far, the poet has described the various divine and valorous actions. But who's actually behind these breathtaking and astonishing feats? He is the nephew of Lord Vishnu. In the present stanza, the poet describes Lord Vishnu. In Vishnu's avatara as Narasimha, the Lord appears as a lion who, with the sharp tips of the claws, tears apart the hostile Hiranyakashipu. In another of the avatara, that is the Vamana avatara, he appears as a dwarf and later assumes a gigantic cloud-hued form that breaks the roof of the universe or Andam and imprisons Mahabali.
Valiya sirayida veliyam mugadu kiri pada mudiyam Valaru mugil nirudan niru paduvagu budaramum மகுடமொருபதும் முறிய அடுபகழி விடு குறிசில் மருகனி சீஜரத்தலமும் வருதாரகாசுரனும்.
The description of Murugan as the nephew of Vishnu continues. Murugan is also the nephew of Rama, who wielded powerful arrows that pierce through and fell the 10 crowned heads of the demon Ravana. Murugan also slayed the demon Tarakasuran. More on this in the next lines.
மடிய மலை பிளவுபட மகர சலநிதி குறுகி மருகி முறையிட முனியும் வடிவேலன் நீலகிரி மருவு குருபதி யுவதி பவதி பகவதி மதுர வசனி பைரவி கௌரி உமையாள் திரிசூலதரி.
Murugan is the preceptor who angrily slayed the army of demons and Tarakasura, demolished the Krauncha mountain and dried up the sea that is populated by Makara fish, causing it to wail in anguish. The Lord carries a spear and resides at Tirutani on the Nilgiri hills. He is the child of the ever-young Umadevi, Bhavati or the creator, Bhagavati or Madhuravasani or the possessor of melodious voice and speech, Bhairavi representing time, Gauri and the bearer of Trishula.
வனசை மதுபதியமலை விசகி திரிபுரை புனிதை வனிதை அபிநவை அனகை அபிராமநாயகி தன் மதலை மலை கிழவன் அனுபவன் அபயன் உபய சதுர் மறையின் முதல் நடு முடிவின் மனநாரு சீரடியே. முருகாசரணம் முருகாசரணம் முருகாசரணம்.
The description of Mother Parvati continues. Mother Parvati is seated on the lotus. She is Kali, she is blemishless, she is Durga, she is the chief of Tripura, she is the pure, beautiful and sinless Abhirami. Murugan is her son. Murugan is the chief of Kurinji land or the mountainous lands. He is the witness of all life, he is the refuge, he is the fragrance permeating the beginning, the end and the middle of the four Vedas. It is his illustrious and glorious feet that have been thus applauded above.